Each morning, real setups are broken down with entry strategies and technical reasoning behind every trade. This is today's best trade setups with Verified Investing.
Welcome to today's best trade setups. My name is Benjamin Poole, head trader here at Verified Investing. Bitcoin is getting a nice surge to the upside today, and the S&P 500 decided to get saved yesterday as well. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the charts. The first one I like to go over is ORCL, and I will be going over the SPY and Bitcoin as well as silver and a couple other ones. So you want to stay tuned for that. So here's this chart on ORCL. It's broken that down sloping trend line. It hasn't confirmed above the breakout yet. It needs to get above this high pivot point for that continuation move. For me, on the shortable side today on ORCL is $156.54. We still have this nice gap in the charts right here that I'm looking to short ORCL for a day trade short. If it breaks above that on a 15-minute closing basis, I would actually look to stop out because the momentum on ORCL, I think, has a lot more upside to go. I think we're at least coming to this $172 level, if not a little bit higher. LITE, I had mentioned, and I might have to restore all these connections, so kind of bear with me. I was mentioning yesterday on LITE that this is your first level of support. $701.18 is that gap in the charts that once it gets filled, it would get a bounce, and it did have a significant bounce, almost $10 on the bounce on LITE. And then I mentioned this upsloping trend line that I mentioned as well. So here's the lows of February 2026. Secondary hit, the third hit of an upsloping trend line when it attacked from the upside does favor a move higher. And now look at what happens to LITE. It's trading as high as $722.60 on the morning session. So if you get up a little bit higher, aggressive traders, you're looking at about around $742.91 for a potential short. For me, I'm looking to short this at $765 whole round number, and then adding all the way up to $783.51. The reason I like these levels is we got to think about how many people were bullish on LITE towards the end of the day on Monday with that huge pop. And then all of a sudden it dropped substantially yesterday, did get a nice bid today. However, they're still stuck in that trade. They were long on this stock. And so once it gets back into that level right here at this pivot top at $765, that is where people are likely to start exiting, and they will exit all the way up to $783.51. Just trying to get back to their break even and exiting the trade. We want to get there with them and short this thing and drive the price down with them. The S&P 500 had this nice bid to the downside. I was mentioning $671.40 for a potential a day trade. It got down there, and look at this. It did pierce that level, never closed below on a 15-minute closing basis, and now we're trading at $682.77. I was also mentioning that aggressive traders could have shorted this at $676.57, and you would have gotten about a $2 to $3 pullback off that level before ultimately it consolidated right beneath it, and now all of a sudden the S&P 500 got saved. So for me, I'm looking to short this at $686.38. Big gap in the charts sitting right there, and a secondary gap above it at $689.30. Bitcoin USD, and again, I might have to reconnect all of these trades or these charts. Here's this wide range red bar candle that I've been monitoring. If we can get up to $73,000 on the chart at Bitcoin, that is where you're likely to get a pretty significant pullback. So on IBIT, that is where I'm looking to short BTC USD on a day trade. Once you break this this horizontal trend line, you are going to see a move at least up to about 78,000. And then you've got this pivot right here around $80,000 where Bitcoin is likely to break up to once we can break out of this horizontal trend line right here. Okay, so I do like the up move on Bitcoin, and I think it has continued move to the upside. So Nvidia also, it's kind of trading kind of sideways on the charts. So for me, from the lows of the charts, if it gets up a little bit higher, I think that we've got a little bit more of a move. So let's go ahead and jump into this chart. Here's Nvidia. So from the lows at $174, this would be about a 5.5 to 6% move to the upside. So I would be looking to short Nvidia at 184.89. Not only that, but you've got this all these buyers who on the back of earnings thought that Nvidia was going to go up. And so for every seller in here, there has to be a buyer. So they're stuck here. I would dollar cost average every $1.80 to $2 higher, knowing that I've got additional resistance at $194.26. Every once in a while, you'll have to do that on the charts. So that's what I'm looking to do on a chart of Nvidia. NCLH, I mentioned that you had this gap in the charts at $20.79. I did not take this, but as you can see, there was pretty significant support, and now we're trading it to $21.50. Let's go ahead and go into the chart of silver. Somebody requested this, so I'm going to go over this. We are getting a little bit of a bid today to the upside, but similar to what's going on with LITE, you've got all these buyers who are stuck in these trades. So if price action get up to $93.81, I will look at SLV for a potential short trade. From the current price action on silver, that is about a 9.5% move. And normally I would say that there's no way silver could jump up that much. However, if you've seen the markets lately, they have had these crazy moves to the upside. And so that is why I would be looking to for a move up an additional 9.5 to 10%. All right, let's go ahead and jump into MongoDB. This was another stock I was mentioning. The pre-market lows were where there was going to be pretty significant support. It did bust through that. So $233.72. If you decided to enter this trade, you could have taken a pretty sizable profit. As soon as it got this little bit of a bid, it was just up and away on MongoDB. So now we're trading at $255.57. Now that this pre-level market has already been hit, gotten this bounce at 233.72, I'm waiting for a pullback into that level. Should get some support here. However, I'm still eyeing $214.34. SE, I did mention $83.70 was where I was going to start taking this for a day trade. SE ended up flushing my level. So I got filled, I dollar cost averaged into this, and I ended up taking about $3,700, which is why I didn't get into some of the other trades that were on the table. So if you guys are interested in knowing how we do that, we go live every day at 9:30 in the morning. We actually start at 9:25 to 9:20 to give out our levels. But if you guys want somebody to walk you through every single trade that we take in the live day trading room, please come join us. It's a lot of fun in there. All right, let's go ahead and go into SanDisk. SanDisk is also another one that's on my radar. $619.08 is a gap that's in the charts right now. So if price action can get up into that level, that is my first shortable level. If it closes above that on a 15-minute closing basis, if you're not in the live day trading room and don't understand dollar cost averaging, I would stop out of this trade and then re-enter it at the high end of this red bar candle at $682.50. ANF is dropping a little bit in the pre-market. It was dropping a little bit more. Now it's getting a little bit of a bid. You've got this low pivot right here at $89.83. That's where I would be looking to pick this up for a long play. And then if you zoom out in the charts, you've got this green bar candle right here, as well as all this previous price action. So this is ANF is something I would look to dollar cost average all the way down to $85.51. And if it does close below that on a 15-minute closing basis, look at the downfall it can have. My next level of support really is $65.56. All right, a couple different people asked about CRWD. It did have earnings yesterday, and look at the movement. Well, actually, it's not doing anything. So it's trading right now at $391.66. What I'm eyeing, though, is this downsloping trend line connecting the pivot top from the 12th of November, 2025. Here's that secondary hit, third hit. We did break above it, but as you can see, got rejected. And then we hit it again and got rejected again. So now if price action does get up to $419.28, that is where I'm looking to short. Not only is this red bar candle high, but it's also a re-hit of this downsloping trend line after we've already gotten rejected again. So that is why I like the CrowdStrike short level at $419. ALM, this is a stock that I wouldn't necessarily trade, but somebody requested it. So my short level today would be $20.72. My closeout would be, or my stop out on a 15-minute closing basis would be the same level. If it does close above that, Then ALM is making all-time highs. And so the ceiling isn't in for ALM once it gets above $20.72. Last but not least, let's go into CRWD, CoreWeave. Your first shortable level is this red bar candle right here. We are making a little bit of a move up today, which is good to see. So first level to short this is $82.46 with an additional support level, or excuse me, resistance level at $84.22. This is another stock that I would stop out above this on a 15-minute closing basis to minimize my risk. So that's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully we can get another run to the upside on the S&P 500, and we can get another move to the upside on Bitcoin and some of these other ones so we can take advantage of short opportunities. So thank you so much. Again, if you guys are getting something out of this, if you guys are taking these trades, please make sure you're liking, commenting with your wins. So that way it sends it out to the algorithms that this is some solid alpha for you guys. And then make sure you're sharing with your friends so that way they can get the same market information that you're getting. Gareth Soloway is going to be going live in less than 4 minutes, and you guys don't want to miss that. And hopefully we'll see you guys in the live day trading room. It's a lot of fun in there and talk about a lot of alpha. We'll see you guys next time in the charts. You guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.